be pretty cool. Secondly, it'll be cool to have personalized advertisements. Let's say you like Shah Rukh Khan, I like Shah Rukh Khan. So if Shah Rukh Khan was supposed to shoot a video, he could come to me and say, "Hi Harsh, how are you? Hi Karan, how are you? Hi Ravikant, how are you? Hi Utkarsh, how are you? Hi Pranav." These are the 5 names I can see on my screen right now. So the concept is that you can create personalized videos for people, because now Shah Rukh Khan is not supposed to shoot every single video. You can shoot a template video, and then essentially I can create videos by analyzing how Shah Rukh Khan typically speaks, his expressions, his voice, etc., etc., and I clone everything. It's a sales personalization tool as of now. It can certainly be used in a lot of other fields, in a lot of other ways, but that's what about Rephrase it is. We'll talk more about it later if you guys are interested. My primary interest lies in understanding how machines learn. Like the way we learn, we think about a problem, we think about a given question. We have a framework in our head based on certain problems that we typically solve, the way we solve, and we use that as a prior. When you look at the world, let's say you are entering a building, IIT BHU for that matter, first time you enter the IIT BHU campus. It's a beautiful campus, so you realize that this is this building, this is this building. Your brain is exploring the map there, and it's trying to find out your own location with respect to the map that you are building in your brain. Can robots really do that? That's the problem called as scene understanding and SLAM in context of computer vision. I typically like these 3 fields a lot. Obviously, I'm very excited to work on anything in and around artificial intelligence in general, but SLAM is something that has interested me a lot. I love singing, watching films, making films. I made a film when I was in IIT with one of my friends. I'm not sure if anyone has seen it or not seen it, but I'll be glad if you could go and see it. We'll get some views on YouTube. It'll be nice. And please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Film and Media Council IIT BHU. Okay, so next thing is, what do I work on? This slide basically summarizes the kind of projects I have done till now. My early days started with semantic sketch understanding. Basically, we were trying to understand sketches. Think of it in this way. You draw a sketch of Barack Obama, put spectacles on it, and it starts looking like Mahatma Gandhi. Right? You draw a cup of coffee. If I give you only the cup, people would say it's a cup. But if I have words in it, people would typically recognize it as coffee. So there are these specific characteristics in a sketch which interest you, or because of which you are able to identify a person. The stick man over here in no way resembles this person. We are used to seeing this, but whenever we get a stick figure like this, we say that, okay, it's a man. It's a person. So how do we do that? How does our brain, really recognize it? That's what the research was all about. Then I went on to develop VSLAM systems based on something called as deep learning. I'm not sure if everyone is aware of it. It's basically a subfield of machine learning where we are trying to teach machines how to move around in an environment. So this is used for autonomous vehicles. I worked on a couple of side projects called as ICP with uncertainty-based visual autometry, grasping, manipulation, and this was my master's thesis, where I developed a localization algorithm, which is again how lines would move in an environment. And lately I've been working on this last interesting figure, a girl, a GIF that you can see. So this is the process in which a machine learns. Can you see there are these random sketches first, and slowly and steadily it evolves into a proper image. So when we give a machine in the initial phase something to learn, it'll just generate some random strokes. And then slowly and steadily it'll generate okay. So slowly and steadily it'll start generating the face that you want to generate. These are called as generative algorithms in facial reconstruction. I'm working on them right now. Cool. You can reach out to me via any medium, whichever you like, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, email, right? Please reach out to me if you have any doubts, concerns, if you just want to talk. I love talking to fachas in general. So reach out and we can discuss further anything that you have in your mind. Now, the moment I was waiting for you guys, tell me something about yourself. Like, who is there? Who are these people who have joined? Koi to bolo kuch. It's just so weird to just keep speaking. Is there anyone who would like to voluntarily come and tell something about themselves? Please, it's a request. I get to know the crowd more, and that will help me in thinking about the session. So, is there anyone?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Somnath. Yeah, so I'm actually very interested in the same domains that you are, mainly in robotics and computer vision. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, so basically, yeah. After hearing that you are doing a master's in CMU, because I did try for the RIS program this year, so I was very
Okay.
excited to. I was looking forward to your talk,
Okay.
and yeah, so that is about me. I do like a few projects here and there, but not as serious or as so like concentrated as yours. Like after seeing the titles of each project, I feel that they are very into the domain of one thing itself, like wherein we do a very generalized project. So yeah, that
Okay.
is about me, I
Uh,
guess.
okay, I'll cover this in the talk, how things work in retrospection, but they're actually not that structured when you're into it. But cool. It was great meeting you. Which year are you in? Do you apply to
Second.
RIS this? You must be in third year, right?
No, I'm in second year, but I just tried this year. I'm mostly trying for Indian internships also, but I did give a try.
Okay. So you're in first year when you apply to RIS, most likely.
No, I'm in the second year. Like it's going, my second is going to end this semester, and then I would be in the third.
Your second year is going to end this December.
December is done. This is my fourth sem.
Okay. Got it. But RIS applicants are not over yet, right? RIS applicants would be over this
15th.
15th.
It was yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, 15th. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Anyone else? Please. And it's a nice name, Hexplex 0xFF. So yeah, you're a computer coding fan. It looks like that. You've written some kind of memory address as your name. But cool.
Hello,
Anyone
yeah.
else? Please.
Hello, yeah.
Haan, bolo.
Utkarsh here from second year electrical engineering.
Cool. Hi,
So,
Utkarsh.
hello, yeah. So, I'm like not into the very technicalities of these fields. Like, I read an article or two. I'm more like throughout my life, I've been intrigued by the mathematics. Like, uh, in deep learning, also, like I studied few articles. So, I understand that these are like black box learning structures. So, I'm not very much in like I'm interested in their application, but I'm not much interested in how the coding and all the structure works. So I like needed some guidance on how do you go about this, develop an interest in these things.
Sure. That's nice. Cool. Utkarsh, I hope the talk works well. I have some answers to your questions. Let's see. Anyone from first year? No one from first year?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Om
Hello.
Prakash.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
तुम कॉलेज आए हो अभी तक?
ओम प्रकाश सर नहीं सर ऑनलाइन चल रहा है
ऑनलाइन चल रहा है. Cool. That is why I wanted to talk to some first year. Right? How is the experience?
एक्सपीरियंस तो भैया जाकर ही पता चलेगा अभी तो इतना खास नहीं लग रहा है ऑनलाइन
Cool. ठीक है. Cool. I was interested actually when I got I'll go ahead actually. ठीक है. I got to know something. Let's move on. We'll come back to other people talking about themselves later when we have the Q&A. So I have a small activity for everyone. What we will try to do over here is let's try to think where we are heading. काफी लोगों के सवाल जवाब ये इस पे होते हैं कि हम करें क्या आगे चल के. Right? What should we do in life ahead? How should we go about solving a problem? How should we go about thinking about a problem? And all sorts of variations of this particular question. Okay. So let's try to think where we are heading. Make 2 circles in a piece of paper or your PPT, whatever, if you're using a digital notebook or something. Make 2 circles. Where am I? PPT. Where am I? What I aspire for? Okay. So let's say you are in first year. Okay. You aspire to be the CEO of Microsoft. Okay. So how do you go about that thing? You will have certain plans. Plan A, plan B, plan C, right? You will have certain plans about it. So, and this, what I aspire for can be anything. You want to be a musician, you can be a musician, you can be a painter, you can be, I don't know what I want to be, but then there'll be some intermediate goals. Let's say मुझे techniques का convener बनना है, मुझे 5 साल बाद Karan को replace करना है E-cell में. मतलब it could be anything that you can really think of. Put that thing over there, what I aspire for. Put that thing in the first place. Where am I? First year electrical engineering, second year electrical engineering, fourth semester. The way you describe yourself. ठीक है, इसको स्टेट मशीन बोलते हैं कंप्यूटर साइंस में. तुम एक स्टेट से दूसरे स्टेट में कैसे जाते हो? ठीक है, तो एक स्टेट अपना डिफाइन करो. उस स्टेट से तुम दूसरे स्टेट में जाना है तुम्हें कहीं पे, तुम कैसे जाओगे? Think about it. I would suggest, matlab, I do not have a really good way. In typical physical workshops, what I do is I look at the graphs that people have drawn. I do not have a good way. So what we can do is we can post images or make these diagrams as a presentation or whatever, if you are good at making a PPT flowchart. And this is a link. I can share it in the chat. Karan, can you put this link in the chat? I have to stop this PPT. एक बार इसको बस chat पे डाल दो. So this, you can, if you are scared of, sharing your name or something, you can go incognito. The PPT is accessible. You can then post your vague plan. Okay. Some key guidelines: be respectful of everyone. Be honest to yourself. Don't try to fool yourself that I want to do this, I want to do that. जो करने का मन है वो करो. And I have a feeling that if we share this, you will actually get to know what kind of crowd you are a part of. Okay. Privacy, I delete all these plans. I don't want your future plans. I just want you to think once कि यार ये कैसे होगा. तुमने कोई एस्पिरेशन या ड्रीम रखा हुआ है अपना, तुम्हारे दिमाग में कुछ गोल है अपना, तो वो तुम अचीव कैसे करोगे? डू यू हैव समथिंग इन योर हेड दैट यू आर हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स? अगर तुम एक अलग ही टेंजेंट पे काम कर रहे हो, दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. सो ईदर योर एस्पिरेशंस आर रॉन्ग और योर डायरेक्शन इज रॉन्ग. ईदर ऑफ इट इज रॉन्ग. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि मुझे क्या फिक्स करने की जरूरत है. ठीक है? And it's not a final hardcore plan that you need to follow throughout your life. It is going to change. But I just want to start that process of thinking about it. I also have a way in which you can just share the PPT with me, but I don't think that will really help. It'll be just too much of chaos right now. So please post the images. We will get back to it at the end of the session. To give you a head start, I'll share mine. This is me in first year. This is actually me in first year. Well, I'm not kidding. मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर में समर्स में बैठ के, मैं सत्या नडेला वाज द रीसेंट सीईओ बैक देन. ठीक है, 2014-13 में बना था वो. ठीक है, एंड ही वाज फ्रॉम मणिपाल एंड आई थिंक ही इज फ्रॉम कंप्यूटर साइंस और इलेक्ट्रिकल, आई डोंट रिमेंबर. ठीक है, तो मैंने अपना लिखा था करंट स्टेट, फर्स्ट ईयर इलेक्ट्रिकल, स्टडी 3 सब्जेक्ट्स, व्हिच इनमें से 2 मुझे याद है, डीएस एल्गो, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम्स, एंड एक और कोई था कुछ कंप्यूटर साइंस का. स्टडी दीज 3 सब्जेक्ट्स, क्वालिफाई 8 राउंड्स ऑफ इंटरव्यूज, जो मुझे पता था हवा में सुनकर कि यार माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में 8-9 राउंड के इंटरव्यू होते हैं. 3 पहले फर्स्ट डे होते हैं, फिर डे 0 आती है, रात को 12 बजे शुरू होता है, सुबह 7 बजे खत्म होता है. अपने को इतना पता था, राइट? Also, if someone is not comfortable with Hindi, please let me know in between, right? Sometimes I switch to Hindi just to make it informal. So I knew that we had to qualify 8 rounds of interviews in Microsoft. So I was like, okay, I'll qualify for Microsoft Redmond. And then after working for 22 years, just like Satya Nadella, I'll become the CEO of Microsoft. That was my lifelong plan. And in between, I might have to do an MBA because, at a corporate level, you need finance. So maybe I'll do an MBA. This was my plan in first year. So you can see how silly it is. Absolutely silly. ठीक है, मतलब भाग मत जाना talk से ये देख के. Because this is not what I am. This is what I was in my first year, and I'm guessing people are like that in first year. I'll give myself that exception. मतलब उतना slack दूंगा अपने आप को. Third year, this is my plan. मैं third year में वापस बैठा. I had a habit of doing this very frequently in life. I still do it sometimes, but in a different way. I think this is easier to start off with. जब हम starting करते हैं इन सब चीजों की तो easy होता है. ये मेरा third year का plan है. मुझे मेरे फ्रेंड ने एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस में डाल दिया था. ही वाज लाइक, करेगा क्या तू? ठीक है, एंड आई वाज लाइक, हाँ यार सही बात बोल रहा है, मैं करूंगा क्या? तो मैं लिखा थर्ड ईयर इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग IIT BHU. आई वांटेड टू जॉइन SpaceX. आई वाज वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट हाइपरलूप एंड SpaceX कि इलॉन मस्क की कंपनी ज्वाइन करनी है. टेस्ला, हाइपरलूप, SpaceX, ये 3 मेरी एकदम ड्रीम कंपनीज थी. दे आर नॉट देयर एनीमोर, बट स्टिल इट वाज देयर बैक देन. So I decided to write this, and you can see how messed up I was. Like, come on, like, क्या है ये? मतलब I was thinking about I could do a masters, and then masters में hell lot of money लगेगा, not hell lot of money मिलेगा, but hell lot of money लगेगा because masters is very expensive. ठीक है, तो hell lot of money, but then I can go to SpaceX most likely because I get a US visa. I could do a job here. I could sit for campus placements. I could get onto GS, money, safe. There's a lot of money in GS. I'll be safe. for life. Microsoft, Amazon, I thought back then I would get stuck because it's a very comfortable life. I don't think so now. Please don't get me wrong. This is me in third year again. I used to think that people in Microsoft and Amazon just chill, they get stuck, etc. I also thought about being an RA or a TA. Frustration refers to that I've seen people getting frustrated here, right? So I might get frustrated at this place, right? I also had planned to go for an IIM, which is not visible. The image got cut. इसके ऊपर एक IIM वाला भी पूरा column था कि मैं IIM जाकर MBA कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है? And right, so I could join a startup. I could join a startup in foreign. I could join a startup in Hyderabad, Bangalore. I could join a startup, then go for an MBA. I could go for an MBA, then I could join a startup, and so on and so on and so forth. Right. तो पता नहीं क्या क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे. I have no clue. So बस ये था. So you can see that it's not supposed to work out. I don't want a plan that's supposed to work out for you. I just want you to think. It's a good activity to think because you get to know what you're heading towards and what your aspirations are. तुम अपने आप को एक पेपर पे डाल रहे हो and that is an important process. वरना तो हमेशा अंदर ही अंदर पता नहीं कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. I don't want that to happen. इसलिए please do that activity and please post your images on the PowerPoint. We might share, we might talk about it, we might just skim through it, and I might just write some suggestions over there. I don't know how will I go about it, but let's do this because this is going to help a lot. So to give you a head start, मैंने दिखा दिया कि मुझे क्या क्या करने का मन था, and to be honest मैंने सब कुछ किया. As a matter of fact, I gave my CAT exam, I sat for my placements, I applied for my masters, I also applied for jobs at startup in my fourth year. I did not give the GMAT for MBA in foreign universities because I was like पैसे नहीं. So that way, that was my plan, and I did everything. Some things worked out, some things did not work out, but cool. Now, the Google Form survey. Is there anyone who did not fill the Google Form survey? Like, how many of you guys filled it actually? Raise your hands in Zoom, I guess. Like, or is there a way to vote or something? I don't know. But the idea was that I wanted to understand what you guys were up to. जैसे मतलब 6-7 साल हो गए मुझे कॉलेज से निकले हुए, so I was not very sure. Just say. I was not very sure that how the dynamics of students have changed. What kind of people are coming in, what kind of people are going out. So I wanted to get a sense of it. And I realized that the confusions are the same, the ones that I had in my first year and second year. करना क्या चाहिए, core, non-core करना चाहिए, machine learning पढ़नी चाहिए या नहीं पढ़नी चाहिए, DSL को पढ़ो नहीं पढ़ो, software में बैठो या उसमें बैठो, hardware में बैठो, मतलब even in core you can sit for 2 profiles. So a lot of those confusions are very similar. Entrepreneurship क्या होती है, हमको ये करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए, वगैरह 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 वगैरह. And I decided to answer them based on what my learning was in the last 6 or 7 years. Right? 6 साल हो गए हैं, मतलब almost going through that process. You guys in first year, second year. तुम third year, fourth year में कुछ सीखते हो, तुम थोड़ा और आगे बढ़ते हो, कुछ और सीखते हो, फिर तुम company ज्वाइन करते हो, तुम कुछ और सीखते हो. So I decided to make a list of misconceptions versus reality. ठीक है कि ये मिसकंसेप्शन होता है कॉलेज में और असलियत ये है, एंड ये जितना जल्दी तुम्हें पता चल जाए, the earlier you get to know this, the better it is. Right? Cool. So let's move on to some basic clarifications in life, and that will go a really long way towards better decision making, I say. First misconception: colleges are not meant to study, as most of the things we read in college cannot be applied in industry. ये बहुत common है. हर senior, मतलब not हर senior, but a lot of seniors say this. ठीक है? The reality towards it is the content you read as of it is mostly not relevant. ठीक है? जो तुम क्लासरूम में पढ़ रहे हो इंडस्ट्री में यूज नहीं होगा, that's true. However, in engineering you're not there to learn subjects. What you're there to learn is the process to learn. The professor gives you a vague idea about a particular topic, let's say linear control systems. ठीक है? Everyone is from electrical, इसलिए मैं electrical की terminology यूज करूंगा थोड़ी बहुत. कि भैया प्रोफेसर आया, उसने लीनियर कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स पढ़ाया या उसने बेसिक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स पढ़ाया, ठीक है? तुमने वो हफ्ते में 2 क्लास होती है हर सब्जेक्ट की, मोस्टली 1 लैब होती है, 2 क्लास होती है, तुम्हें एक बेसिक आइडिया लग गया. उसके बाद यू गो ऑन टू रीड दैट मटेरियल, डेवलप एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड ट्राई फिगरिंग आउट हाउ यू डेल्व इनटू एन एब्सोल्युटली न्यू फील्ड टू मेक समथिंग टैंजिबल आउट ऑफ इट. Because you see, technology is changing every single day. I am a part of an email link called as archive, where every day the number of papers जो भी publish होते हैं वो बस list बन के आती है उसकी. Can you imagine the number of papers I get every day? आर्काइव के 2 मेल्स आते हैं, एक सुबह एक शाम को. हर ईमेल में 47 ईमेल्स होते हैं, 47 पेपर्स होते हैं. 47 papers in AI are coming every day. 2 बार में. तो मतलब 47 into 2, that is close to 94. Close to 94 to 100 papers are being published every single day. मतलब Europe's one of the biggest, largest conferences of AI had 8,000 submissions shared this year. CVPR had 10,000 submissions. AAAI had 6,000 submissions. ऐसा कुछ है statistics. मुझे exact numbers याद नहीं है, but 5 से 7,000 submissions होते हैं किसी भी conference में. 7,000 papers submit होते हैं हर साल. That is the pace at which technology is moving. So certainly you cannot learn something in these 4 years of your life and sustain for next 40 years. That's not going to happen. You will learn control systems today, tomorrow some new theory will come, you will have to adapt to it. You will learn a particular software language today, tomorrow a new software language will come, you'll have to learn that. So what you are learning in college is the process of learning. कि how do you get something new on your plate, फटाफट उसको पढ़ो, समझो और उसको एक tangible output में convert करो. Be smart about it. Stack Overflow use किया, ये किया, वो किया, फलाना किया, ढिकाना किया, and get that done. That's what you're learning. You're not learning a subject. तो अगर तुमने पढ़ाई करना छोड़ दिया तो वो प्रोसेस चली गई तो 4 साल तुमने अपने ग्रे सेल्स की बस समझ जाओ, right? You did not use your gray cells, you did not challenge it, so now your gray cells are unusable after 4 years or 5 years of your college life. Then when you enter the industry you're like, oh ma, how am I supposed to even understand this? डेफी इंटीग्रल और इंडेफी इंटीग्रल में फर्क नहीं याद आ रहा यार, ये तो जेई में बॉस होते थे अपन इसके. फिजिक्स में, मैकेनिक्स में, अरे रोटेशनल मैकेनिक्स का फॉर्मूला क्या था, टॉर्क कैसे निकालते थे, ये भी याद नहीं आ रहा बिकॉज 5 साल पढ़ाई नहीं करी. तो वैसा नहीं करना है. You have to understand that reading is important, but reading is not important just to score marks or to, develop a proficiency in a particular topic. You have to learn the process of learning. That's where the whole engineering is all about. It's about learning to make jugads. Okay? Second misconception. There are only 2 kinds of jobs, core and non-core. Grow. The world is becoming interdisciplinary now. There is no 0 and 1 here. There is no binary answer to this, that I work in core or I work in non-core. The fact is, job is anything that you can create to earn a living in exchange for the services or the skills that can be useful for the community. तुम गाते अच्छा हो तो तुम गाने लग जाओ Zoom call में, तुमको पैसा आने लगेगा. That is a job. Right? A job is a service that you are giving. It can be created out of anything. The skill that you have, उसके exchange में कुछ return चाहिए तुम्हें. That is what is a job. Now, let's say you are interested in public policy and engineering. ठीक है, तुमको इंजीनियरिंग में मजा आता है, तुमको पब्लिक पॉलिसी अच्छा लगता है, तुम्हें इकोनॉमिक्स पसंद है, या तुम्हें फार्मास्यूटिकल्स पसंद है, कुछ भी पसंद है, ठीक है, म्यूजिक पसंद है, ऑडियो इंजीनियर बन जाओगे. बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट the world is becoming interdisciplinary, so you cannot have a core and non-core job. Even when you are working electrical, you need to know coding. Even when you are working in coding, you need to know some hardware. You cannot really go saying that मुझे hardware बिल्कुल नहीं आता है, मेरा domain नहीं है. Sometimes you'll have to work with an Arduino board. Sometimes you'll have to work with something else. You have to develop an understanding. And if you don't have an understanding, you'll develop it on the fly. कि हाँ ठीक है यार, Arduino का documentation दो, मैं फटाफट समझ जाऊंगा. या मुझे ये particular machine का design दो, मैं समझ जाऊंगा. मुझे basic mechanics आती है. That way you have to think. There is no way you can say that मैं core में काम करता हूँ, non-core में काम करता हूँ. Robotics, मुझे लगता है इसमें सब कुछ है. Hardware है, software है, ethics है, law making है, material science है, medicine है, surgical robotics अगर पढ़ोगे, first thing that you have to read is biology of a body. मुझे कभी strike ही नहीं किया कि हम जब body के अंदर robot डालेंगे उसको light नहीं मिलेगी. First time when I was working on a surgical bot, I did not realize कि अंदर light नहीं होती body के. तो मैं navigate कैसे करेगा? मेरा professor बोलता है, dude, you will have to put in a light source as well. I'm like, why? मतलब it's just a tunnel, right? तुम vessels के अंदर जाते हो, बोलते हैं उसके अंदर light नहीं होती, idiot. How will you go through the tunnels? Tunnels को तोड़ कर थोड़ी ना जाओगे. Blood vessels कट जाएंगी तुम्हारी. I'm like, whoa, I never thought of it. So you have to start thinking in an interdisciplinary manner. Also, just a fun fact, coding is more like a language. It's a tool to convert your ideas into something tangible. Please don't say me that मुझे coding आती है, मुझे coding नहीं आती है. तुम सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर नहीं हो, मैं समझता हूँ, तुम बहुत ऑप्टिमाइज कोड नहीं लिख सकते हो, मैं समझता हूँ. इट्स मोर लाइक प्रोफिशिएंसी लैंग्वेज. मुझे अमिताभ बच्चन जैसी हिंदी बोलना नहीं आता, बट मुझे हिंदी बोलना आता है, राइट? मैं कवि नहीं हूँ, बट मैं बोल सकता हूँ. आई एम नॉट शेक्सपियर, बट आई कैन स्पीक इन इंग्लिश because I want to communicate my idea. I can make a very basic Android app to kind of show what I'm talking about. I can make an MVP out of it, but then I'll hire a software developer to do that who is interested in doing that job. 5 years, 10 years down the line, you will not be able to escape coding. If you're working as a chemical engineer, you'll have to make simulations. Let's say you're working as an electrical engineer, you will be making simulations in MATLAB as of now, cruise control वगैरह. You cannot escape coding altogether. We are coding करता ही नहीं. Coding वाला हमें बंदा उठाएंगे जो वो करेगा. ये मेरी philosophy थी first year में. I used to hire, I used to go to my CS branch folks and I would tell them, यार तुम coding वाला part संभाल लो, मैं wiring देख लूँगा. That was a really bad way to do things. I should have got to it कि यार ठीक है, basic ही तो है, थोड़ा बहुत code लिखना कर लेंगे, for loop वगैरह लगाकर कुछ चला देंगे. उतना confidence होना चाहिए अपने अंदर. It's a language, as I said. Misconception. यार ये बहुत आता है मेरे पास. I have had 3rd year, 4th year people calling me up and saying, first of all, they waste their first 2 years of their life. ठीक है, उनका पॉइंटर सब चौपट हो जाता है. उसके बाद वो 3rd year में पूरा blame कॉलेज के ऊपर डाल देते हैं. Our college is the worst college in the world. It has nothing, neither research opportunities, nor funding, nor professors. I am doomed. These are their exact statements and words that I typically get from a 3rd yearite or a 4th yearite who is not able to understand anything. And that is why we are having this session right now with 1st year and 2nd year students. Think, 2 साल पहले you badly wanted to get to this place. You're sitting in one of the best colleges in the country with some of the most brilliant folks around you. This place is not what it is because of the riches. ये जगह अच्छी नहीं है because यहाँ पे AC लगा हुआ है, या क्लासरूम बहुत बढ़िया है, या सोफे वाली सीट है यहाँ पर. But this place is what it is because of the people who surround you over here. The major takeaway from this place is not the degree, but some amazing connections and moments that you are up to create in the next 4 or 5 years. That's what you get out of IIT BHU. You are not getting out of IIT BHU anything else. If you thought that मैं पढ़ने आया हूँ and मुझे कोई बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाएगा, well, true, they will teach you. But now engineering as a domain is so open-ended that you cannot be taught everything. It's not 11, 12 कि NCERT की टेक्स्ट बुक में जो होता है वो सारे टीचर ने कवर करवा दिया, फिर क्वेश्चन आंसर्स लगवा दिए, फिर क्वेश्चन का आंसर याद कर लिया, फिर एग्जाम में लिखा है. या IIT में भी आजकल यही हो गया. To a certain degree, we have a set of pattern of questions. आर्काइव्स लगा दो 34 साल के, 35 साल के, ठीक है, इसका AITS दे दो, उसका AITS दे दो, बंसल के पेपर लिख दो, फिडजी के पेपर लिख दो. We have been trained and groomed that way all our life, and that is why we expect that to happen inside an IIT also. The fact is, education was never supposed to be this way. Education was always supposed to be the way it is done at IIT कि तुम दो lectures लोगे, बस basics पढ़ाओगे, उसके बाद बच्चा खुद पढ़ेगा. That's the idea. And you have to understand, read, and discuss this with people around to further strengthen your understanding of this whole topic. Else it's just useless. Cool. So that's something that's really important. I think Anupam's Raghuvanshis are also joined. I'll just take 1 minute to introduce him. Hi, sir. Okay, I think he's not active right now. We'll get back to it. So cool. The misconception was our college is worst. That's not true. It's one of the best colleges in the world. Please make the best use of your opportunities and your connections and the people around you. Okay. Cool. Misconception. An IIT is meant to prepare you for a job of 30 LPA. This has come from my relatives. IIT जाकर अगर 30 लाख का पैकेज नहीं लगा तो क्या लगा? कहे गए थे IIT? No. An IIT is meant to prepare you for the fucking ups and downs that you're going to face in your life, so that you have faith and belief in yourself, even if you're running a 3 LPA package. You're supposed to learn the journey of life over here. You're not supposed to prepare yourself for a 30 or 35 LPA package. That's not the case. हम उसके लिए नहीं आए. You know what your worth is, and you develop that inside an IIT. You learn to believe in yourself and look at life one step at a time. Work hard to make the most of it. That's what you're here for. So people who are thinking in first year that how do I crack a Microsoft interview and become the CEO the way I was thinking, right? Because I saw someone getting a 1.5 crore package. That's not what you should be thinking. Because that's not what you are meant to be here for. You're here for understanding this journey of life. कि मैं करूँगा कैसे इन चीज़ों को, and what is my aspiration, और उसके लिए मैं अपने आप को prepare कैसे कर रहा हूँ. वो चीज सीखने आए हो तुम IIT में. Cool. Next misconception. If I do an MBA next from an IIM, my life is set. बहुत सारे लोग बहुत uninformed तरीके से पहले IIT आते हैं, IIT में इंजीनियरिंग को क्रिप करते हैं, फिर बोलते हैं IIM चला जाता हूँ. IIT IIM कॉम्बो पैक इंडिया के बेस्ट 2 इंस्टीट्यूशन से मैं पास आउट हो गया हूँ, बेस्ट है. मैंने भी किया था, मैंने खुद सोचा था ये. ठीक है. The thing is that your decision is uninformed. तुम uninformed तरीके से IIT पहुंचे, you reach a dead end, you not like it. तुम uninformed तरीके से MBA करोगे, तुम IIM जाओगे, वहां पे भी dead end आ जाएगा. Get to know your interests. If you're interested in finance, write CFA का level 1. If you're interested in, let's say, management, take some open courseware. Talk to people. बहुत सारे हमारे कनेक्शंस हैं जो IIMs में हैं, उनसे पूछो सर आपका कैसा वर्क प्रोफाइल है, आपको कैसा लगता है, क्या पढ़ाते हैं, क्या नहीं पढ़ाते हैं. टाइम जाओ, लोगों से बात करो. मतलब I went to time in my second year, I talked to Anupam sir, I talked to people around there, people who were graduates, जो ग्रेजुएट करके IIM चले गए थे, उनसे बात किया. I got to know that ठीक है, there's a flair in it and I might like it. So try it. If you don't like it, जैसे मुझे third year में लगा था कि मुझे शायद management is शायद not my flair as of now. I want to pursue a master's. I discussed that also with Anupam sir. तो सोचो, डिस्कस करो और आगे बढ़ो. Genuinely try finding your interest and pursue them. ऐसे dead ends मत पकड़ो बस. कोई सेंस नहीं है उसका. Because you will just be carrying, a lot of क्या बोलते हैं, badges and tags. But that's not useful. That's not what your life is meant for. तुम badges और tags इकट्ठे करने थोड़ा आए थे यार. मिल गया tag IIT वाला, बहुत है. अगर badge ही इकट्ठा करना था तो. That's more than enough for your life. Let's genuinely try finding, because 11th 12th में हमारे पास ऑप्शन नहीं था. मम्मी पापा ने बोला कुछ हुआ, आ गया IIT. IIT के बाद हमारे पास चॉइस है कि हमें करना क्या है उसके बाद. That is why I want you to think. And वो first वाली activity, where am I, what am I aspiring to, and उसके बीच का plan. And we'll really get back to it. Please try doing it. Keep filling with your graphs as I talk. Misconception. There are 2 major misconceptions over here. I have forever to fix my mistakes. Let's have fun. I've seen these 2 kinds of people, and this is more like my opinion. I wouldn't enforce it. And I've seen other folks who are like, I have too less time to make anything useful out of my life. I should study or code for 24 hours a day. Stop living at extremes. There's no sense in it. I think time and health are probably the only 2 things that you cannot buy in your life. So be careful about how you spend it. It's amazingly important that you spend your time very wisely. Now, why do I say time very wisely? You see, if you study forever or you just keep roaming out forever, you're wasting your time in either of the ways. You're missing on the connections in college. You're missing upon the extra personality development that could have happened in college. You're missing that when you're studying for 24 hours a day. When you're absolutely going for only club activities and you know everything that happens in IIT BHU. First year वालों को शायद ना पता हो, second year वालों को तो पता हो गई. Right. So you have to understand where my limits are. Take care of your health. Health है तो wealth है. मतलब there is no doubt about that. COVID ने दिखाई दिया होगा सबको. Immunity होनी चाहिए. हल्दी वाला दूध पियो रोज. ठीक है. Develop immunity and develop your health. These are the 2 things that you cannot buy. If you are thinking that मैं manage कर लूंगा बाद में चल के कुछ हो जाएगा, what is going to happen is you're going to live in an SOS. तुम 6 दिन काम करोगे, फिर 3 दिन के लिए मर जाओगे. That's what is going to happen. And it's just going to be a bad experience. I've done that. I was brutally ill in my second year and third year. मतलब मेरा डॉक्टर मुझे ऐसे बोल रहा था कि ये चल कैसे रहा है. That was his statement. तुम चल कैसे रहे हो? तुम्हारे मतलब B12 विटामिन सब इतना कम था. I was just living at extreme. In third year में अक्कल लाइफ में थोड़ा सुधारा अपने आप को. But then again, why to do a mistake? Learn from others' mistake. Misconception. अब मतलब इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि I'm asking you to stop aiming for any materialistic things in life. I'm not saying that. I say that aim for almost every single possible materialistic thing that you desire to have. अगर तुम्हारा मन है Mercedes चलाने का तो चलाओ. तुम्हारा मन है BMW चलाने का तो चलाओ. तुम्हें मन है बड़ा सा घर होना चाहिए, करोड़ों का पैकेज होना चाहिए, करो. But at the same time, don't make that as your goal. Think about what you can give back to the society. What are you here for? You're certainly not here for just earning money. अगर तुम पैसा भी कमा रहे हो तो चांद ज़करबर्ग इनिशिएटिव है, 99% ऑफ द वेल्थ डोनेट कर दिया. बिल गेट्स, बिल एंड मेलिंडा गेट्स फाउंडेशन, फॉर्च्यून 500 कंपनी जितना मिलकर नहीं डोनेट करती है उतना वो अकेला डोनेट करता है. वॉरेन बुफे. try making the world a better place to live. It's going to drive you in a phenomenal way in your life. Trust me. एक बार शुरू करके देखो, and you will feel so happy about your own self that तुम्हारी लाइफ में एक पर्पस आ जाएगा. तुमने एक रैंडम किसी गांव में किसी बंदे की एजुकेशन फंड कर दी पूरे साल, ठीक है, तुम्हें जो खुशी मिलेगी ना उससे, तुम्हें नहीं पता कि मे बी यू कैन नॉट फॉलो इट बिकॉज तुम्हारा कैवियाज बहुत है तुम्हारी लाइफ में, तुम बनारस में रहते हो, दिल्ली में रहते हो, बट तुमने कहीं ना कहीं 4-5 लोगों को खड़ा कर दिया, तुम एक इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट कर रहे हो, एंड दैट इज गोइंग टू ड्राइव यू अ लॉट. तुम्हें समझ में आएगा कि तुम्हारे पैसे का एक्चुअली कुछ यूज हो रहा है. इसीलिए इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू थिंक दैट वे टू ड्राइव योरसेल्फ. सो थिंक अबाउट मटेरियलिज्म, थिंक अबाउट मनी, थिंक अबाउट एवरीथिंग. जो भी तुम्हारी डिजायर है पूरी करो, बट देन don't make that as the sole purpose of your life. Another misconception, I've heard this from people, college mein aakar, I need to know what I want to do in life by 3rd year. I know what I want in life. Naukri, chokri, matlab different aspects of life will come in as you move on in college. You're growing, interesting cheezein hoengi tumhare sath, theek hai. Do everything, but I think the key lesson that I've learned a very hard way in my life is nothing remains fixed. Life change, people change, ideas change, perceptions change, and so do your plans. Don't fall in love so early with anyone or anything. Maybe it's an idea, an ambition, a dream, a goal, kuch bhi, that you cannot detach yourself from it. Whether it be people, ideas or dreams, live life with open arms and let it come to you. जैसा भी होगा, जो भी होगा, धीरे धीरे आएगा. इतना फिक्सेट मत करो अपने आप को इसी चीज में कि मुझे यही करना है, बिकॉज देखो तुम्हारा गोल सेटिंग ही गलत हो गया. फिर तुमने अगर ये गोल सेट कर लिया कि मुझे, जैसे मैंने बोला मुझे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सीईओ बनना था, दैट्स हाउ द टॉक स्टार्टेड, कि मेरा फर्स्ट ईयर का प्लान वाज माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सीईओ बनना है. तो यार अब मैं माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सीईओ ना बनकर रीफ्रेज का बन गया, मान लो. अभी तो नहीं बना, अभी आश्रय है, बट कभी बन गया तो माई गोल इज नॉट फुलफिल्ड. Why my goal is not fulfilled is because the problem is that I aimed for becoming a Microsoft CEO. भले ही मैंने उससे बेटर कुछ काम कर दिया या उससे वर्स कर दिया, मेरा गोल ही गलत सेट हो गया. मैंने इतना फिक्सेट कर लिया अपने आप को एक छोटी सी चीज पे, जैसे मैंने बचपन में आईआईटी के लिए भी कर लिया था कि मैं आईआईटी ही जाऊंगा बस, दैट्स इट. बहुत लोग करते हैं. नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. थिंक थोड़ा सा बड़ा, थिंक थोड़ा सा आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स कि यार मुझे करना क्या है, एंड लेट लाइफ गो ऑन. धीरे धीरे. Don't fixate yourself on things. And you don't need to know what you want to do in life. Again, as I showed, मेरा first year का plan was well खराब. 3rd year का plan was okayish, but it did not work out. I'm doing something not completely off, but something off what I had not planned. Right? So it's not supposed to work out, but you still need to have a plan. Still need to think about it. Nothing can go wrong is one more misconception that a lot of people have after coming inside the IITs, कि हम IIT आ चुके हैं, अब कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Nothing is going to go wrong. Well, everything that can happen will happen. Moore's law. जो होना है वो तो होके रहेगा, तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते उसका. Right? So if something can go wrong, it can. But again, as I said, you are here in the IITs not because you wanted to get a 30 LPA package, not because you want to, get a 10-pointer or a gold medal. You were here to understand this process. कि when things go wrong, तुम holistically सोच कर कैसे अपने आप को उस process से बाहर निकालते हो. बहुत suicides हुए हैं हमारे कॉलेज में. अगर मैं डरा नहीं रहा हूँ फर्स्ट ईयर वालों को, तुम्हें पता चलेगा eventually. ठीक है? There was a phase when I was in my 3rd year, and it was sad. I'll tell you. मतलब it's something that मेरी रूह कांप गई थी. My batchmate suffered from a disease which was very severe. One of my friends suffered from a disease which was very severe. It was related to stress and pressure. 2 of my batchmates committed suicide. It was again very disturbing. You're not supposed to do that. You're just not supposed to do it. Why? Because it's life. Thousands of things will go wrong. एक आध चीज चल जाएगी, उस पे जिंदगी चल जाएगी. It has to work only once. You're supposed to get placed in only one of the companies. You're not supposed to get placed in Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle, blah, 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 blah. Fang बोलते हैं, पता नहीं क्या बोलते हैं आजकल. Tang interviews qualify कर लो. It's not supposed to be that way. It has to work only once. And you need to have that perseverance to go around and, fight for your life. बहुत कीमती गिफ्ट है तुम लोगों के पास. हर बंदे को नहीं मिलता है. क्यों हम लोग इतना सिली तरीके से देखते हैं लाइफ को, मुझे नहीं समझ में आता. मैंने कोशिश भी करी समझने की, बात भी करी लोगों से. वी स्टार्टेड एन इनिशिएटिव आल्सो टू टॉक टू पीपल, अंडरस्टैंड एंड think through this. But please, it's a मतलब हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी, whenever you feel something like that, talk to me, talk to anyone around you, let things out, because you see, you are not the only one who's facing these problems. बाकी लोग भी फेस कर रहे हैं, बस बोलते नहीं है. लोगों को लगता है यार हमारे साथ ही सब बुरा होता है. Stop thinking in a way that things are happening to you. Start thinking in a way that things are happening for you. तुम्हें ग्रो करेंगी, हर एक इवेंट तुम्हें ग्रो करेगा. A lot of challenges I have faced in my life, I have always felt after almost every single challenge that I'll not be able to recover out of it. Almost every single challenge in my life. मेरी 8 महीने तक इंटर्नशिप नहीं लगी थी, 120 ईमेल भेजे तो कुछ नहीं हुआ था. I lost my mother in my first year. ठीक है, lot of physical and emotional drama in my, not physical exactly, but emotional drama तो बहुत हुआ है मेरे अराउंड कॉलेज में. I felt depressed, I felt a lot of things happened. But then you have to keep going. And that's what you're learning at IITs. And that's why I repeat upon all these things again and again and again and again and again. Anyway, so is this a philosophy class? No, it is not. We'll get to the mudda also, which is very short, by the way, in my opinion. बहुत straightforward answers there to all your questions. But having clear perceptions and perspectives towards life helps. तुम जो अपने goals और agendas और सोच रहे हो चीजों को, things in life, and then try thinking about these goals and aspirations. And मुझे core करना है, मुझे non core करना है, मुझे IIM जाना है, मुझे MS करना है, मुझे ये करना है, मुझे वो करना है. Think about things in a way that आगे तुम्हारी जिंदगी में ये सब चीजें इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं लगेंगी. जस्ट लाइक IITs. जब IIT निकालना था तो वैसा लग रहा था बाप रे बस IIT निकल जाए. जब निकल गया तो नॉर्मल हो गया सब कुछ, राइट? वैसे ही होता है. Once life is a journey, you have to keep going, and that's why you will have paths of journey. मुझे MS करना है, CMU से मुझे स्टैनफोर्ड जाना है, मुझे ये करना है, सब होगा. चिल कर, धीरे धीरे होगा. Do your best and keep moving ahead. More to the actual agenda. I'll get back to these points in the Q&A maybe. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time here. We are already 12:45. Karan, I said कि बता देना, but anyway, cool. Coming to the actual agenda, the first question was scope of electrical engineering. So यार स्कोप ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग बहुत सिंपल है. तुम ये सोचो कि इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग तो यूज होती ही नहीं है कहीं पे. मतलब होती है बट उतनी एक्सटेंसिवली द काइंड ऑफ प्रोफाइल्स दैट वी आर लुकिंग एट वहां नहीं होती है. तो क्या यूज होता है? फंडामेंटल्स यूज होते हैं. इंजीनियरिंग में जो हम मैथ्स पढ़ते हैं, जो हम कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ते हैं सिग्नल प्रोसेसिंग में 50 जगह, वो यूज होते हैं. कैसे? आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, अ वेरी 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 सिंपल एग्जांपल. कोई कुछ बोल रहा है क्या?
Sorry, I can't understand Hindi. Can you say it in English?
Oh, sure. So we'll be looking at the fields and ideas and how the maths that typically study in electrical engineering and how that can be used. Okay. So the idea is that the topics that we read mostly in classrooms are not directly useful to us, but the fundamentals that we use typically get extrapolated in the form of machine learning, reinforcement learning, and all these new topics that are coming up. And we feel like, oh my God, I should be reading this. I should be reading machine learning. I should be reading AI. And I have interest in robotics. The thing is that that Newton does not change. The fundamental remains the same. I give you a very simple example, and I've taken such a simple example just because it was first year, second year. Let's talk about convolution. How many of you know about convolution? Like, what is convolution? Raise your hands. I don't know. What's the best way to know what the audience thinks? Vishrut knows. Cool. Is there anyone else? I don't know. Cool. So let's talk about it. Okay. So convolution. Convolution is a basic operation. It's basically a dot product and a sum. If used properly, it can be used for processing an input signal. Okay? It's used very commonly in electrical engineering. Almost everywhere in signal processing, it is used. Here, what I'm doing is, let's say I have input readings from a noisy sensor. Let's say XT. A is the age of the signal. The WA is the weight based on the age of the signal. So let's say I have a signal which is really, really new. I want to weight that more. I want to weight on a signal which was pretty old. So I have a weighting function which says that, okay, something that's 10 seconds behind, I should weight them 0. Something that's 9 seconds behind, I should weight them 1. So T minus A. I weight them based on time. and I multiply that with my signal x of a. So I'm, basically creating a dot product and doing a sum, which is basically a weighted average of my original signal. This particular formulation is referred to as convolution. This operation, x of a times w of t minus a dA, ka integral from minus infinity to infinity. Now, let's say I have a 2D signal over here, and I'm applying convolution on it, right? And I get some output. This whole idea is referred to as convolutional networks. Basically, this is also a convolution, but this as an operation is used in neural networks, right? Where you try to learn. Can you see my mouse pointer, Karan?
No, it's not.
No?
Okay, yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Pointer. Okay, so this part here. In neural networks, we try to learn this. This map is what we try to learn in neural networks. But instead of learning a matrix as such, what we can do is we can learn a kernel, a small kernel which does some local operation. And this whole idea is referred to as convolutional neural networks. Right. Now, the long story short over here is that we read about convolution in electrical engineering, but we don't read about convolutional neural networks in electrical engineering. But if we understand convolution in its core essence, what is happening in our classrooms, or what is happening when the DSP coursework is going on, or the Laplace transform, or the Fourier transform, or whatever these interesting operations are. How do you convert a signal from time to frequency, frequency to time? Short Fourier transform kya hota hai, transforms kya hote hai, in general what are transforms? That helps. That helps because when we are working on machine learning, we can think and extrapolate our classroom knowledge and apply it over here. Now, is this a coincidence? And okay, so convolutional neural networks is basically a stacked version of this, where this is called as a VGG network, where you're trying to classify this image as a car or a dog or something out of the 1,000 classes that are present. There are 1,000 outputs which are here. You put in an input image and you get which class does this belong to. And this whole network, the whole big blocky thing that you can see is just a stacked version of convolution with some interesting functions in between. So if you understand convolution as an operation, if you understand the fundamentals of function approximators, I would say, how do you try finding out a weight kernel? We mix both of them and we come to the theory of neural networks. And then we come to the theory of convolutional neural networks. And then once you understand convolutional neural networks, you're like, okay, fine, let's write a code for it in PyTorch or Caffe or whatever, TensorFlow, and get done with it. But to understand the math behind it, as an electrical engineer, for me, it's easier, I would say, because I think of things in terms of signal. Whether the input is a word, a paragraph, a text, an image, a sensor reading, whatever, it's a signal. It's a 2D signal, it's a 3D signal, it's an ND signal, whatever it is, it's a signal, the way we treat it in electrical engineering. And that's how I go about solving that problem. So you see, a very simple operation that we read in classroom can be used in a very interesting and well-defined way, which people are keen on using. I'll give you the statistics for it. Convolutional neural networks were introduced in 2012 by Alex Krzyzewski. Okay. Now this paper was basically a game changer in the field of machine learning. Before this, people never thought that machine learning could be really used on images because it was just too high dimensional to work with. It was almost impossible to make function approximations work. Convolution did that. And now this paper was cited by 77,883 papers, which means that 77,883 papers till date have been written, which in some way refer to this work. So in 8 years, 77,833 papers, 883 papers, close to 10,000 papers or 11,000 papers every year are using this work. And this is really popular. Almost every field right now is using it. Robotics is using it. Medical surgeries are using it. Biomedicine is using it. Pharmaceuticals is using it. Then the COVID detection was done using these networks, convolutional neural networks. COVID detection was done using convolutional neural networks lately. So you see, the fundamentals remain simple. It's not that complicated. It's just that we make it complicated. And we are like, oh my God, nothing happens in electrical engineering. Everything happens. You just don't read it. Right? Obviously, I'm not saying that everything will be covered in classrooms. Certain things you'll be reading outside classrooms as well. But I am sure that I was able to give you an idea and a sense of how you could use your knowledge in electrical to actually delve into machine learning. or robotics or something else. Does that make sense? No, raise your hands. Do something, please. It has been a monologue for a while now. Is anyone even listening? Cool. I started getting some hands. Cool. Great. So now, is this a coincidence? Like maybe convolution is just, an operation which just works. मतलब ये बहुत interesting चीज थी, which, is useful. Well, complete electrical engineering is full of it. Linear algebra. First year folks, second year folks, you must have been taught by Professor Ashok G. Gupta, right? And you must not have paid attention in the classrooms. I'm pretty sure I also not did. He taught linear algebra, and it's used inevitably in every single field. As soon as you go from a 1D signal to a 2D, a 3D, a 4D, an ND signal, you will use linear algebra in some way or the other. The Kelvin filter that you will read, it's one of the most powerful algorithms out there to actually work with. The funda behind a Kelvin filter that you get an approximation, you calculate an innovation based on the difference of the approximation, and then correct your approximation. That idea of Kelvin filter has been there for 60 years, and it is still one of the best algorithms out there. If you don't believe it, if anyone remembers Tango tablet, which was used for depth estimation, it was nothing but a Kelvin filter based approach. It was an extended Kelvin filter that worked. It's one of the simplest SLAM algorithms which works amazingly well. But we will never read Kelvin filters. We will be like, Kelvin filters is very old. Kelvin filters are useless. I've seen people, I don't understand Kelvin filters, but I know the theory behind it. It doesn't make sense. You have to understand the fundamentals. And I'm repeating this again. Even I did not understand it when I was in college. I did that during my master's. But then I just felt it was not that difficult to understand in my college itself. I could have done this if I could have paid just a little more attention in my classroom. It would have been fairly easy for me to understand a lot of things back then. Ideas behind convex optimization and numerical methods. Numerical methods would be taught by mostly Santana ma'am. Probability would be taught by Subir Das. I think these are very powerful techniques. Gauss-Newton-Raphson. You'll be reading about them in power transmission as well. How do you optimize for the power loads and stuff? You'll be using Gauss-Newton method, etc. Now, we will read Gauss-Newton as an application, but we won't try to understand how it works, and we will just try to get rid of it. Gauss-Newton, Newton-Raphson are one of the most powerful optimization techniques if you read about convex optimization, which is the sole essence of machine learning. But nahi padhenge. Engineering mechanics and robotic manipulation, they have a very, very, very strong overlap with each other. There's no getting away with it. I remember I was reading about manipulation, Matt Mason was teaching me, and I was like, I tried using some ideas from 11th, 12th, our JE classroom. And he was like, oh, we never thought of that problem that way. You see, what we are taught in 11th, 12th is coming as an equivalent or is useful when I'm reading my master's. Those methods are useful. The Newton does not change wala philosophy. Engineering mechanics and robotic manipulation have a very strong overlap with each other. Markovian processes and HMMs. You will be reading about Markovian processes in third year. I'm pretty sure a lot of people won't even remember Markovian processes, that it was covered in classrooms. MDPs, decision-making processes for a Markov process. But when we learn sequence modeling using LSTMs, when we learn sequence modeling using a transformer network, multi-attention network, we'll be overwhelmed with it. Oh my God. But then the basic theory comes from there. Even for reinforcement learning, the basic theory comes from MDPs. Adaptive control systems and reinforcement learning. So adaptive control systems is basically how do you adapt your linear control system so that it gets adapted based on the noise and everything else in the system. A very, very, very bad way to explain it is that. And reinforcement learning is about learning policies which can be learned based on and when you understand the environment. So there's a very strong overlap and the list is endless. So you see, the ideas that you read in your classroom, they are in some way or the other going to help you. Right? But we tend to ignore them because we are in college and we feel like we should be doing, things that are cool. The thing is that the things that are cool are related to this and we miss upon this. And then we are just, struggling. We are like, professors are not there, teachers are not there, no one is there to help me out. Talk to your seniors, they'll help you out. read books. That'll help you out. But yeah, electrical engineering is a beautiful subject, electrical and electronics. It's a intersection, it's a proper intersection of mechanical, electrical, and computer science. Cool. Next question was research opportunity. I thought a lot about this question. Where is the research opportunity? And this was the one-line answer that I had. Almost every field out there has an open-ended research problem that it is waiting to be solved. Every single field. I couldn't think of one field which does not have a research problem out there. And robotics. If someone is interested in robotics, robotics is at the heart of every single field again. I'm talking about every single field: public policy, ethics, international relations, lawmaking. Everywhere robotics will be there. I'll give you examples. Learning-based control methods. Clear application of robotics. Control करना है learning के basis पे. मतलब we'll have machine learning for controlling bots. More effective cooling mechanisms for chip designs. Electrical. Robotics. I can go all day. Medical robotics. Manipulation. Manipulation is basically. Okay, let's say I'm holding this. Can you see this? Okay, I'm holding this. When I hold this, it's grasping. When I move around and fiddle around with this is manipulation. This is called as manipulation. Grasping is this problem. I grasp it and I keep it over here. Manipulation is how do I, let's say I want to, this was the orientation. I want to take it up. I want to change the orientation like this and place it in a rack. Essentially what I can do is I can design a bot which does something like this. This is manipulated. Manipulation, computer vision, AI and ML in general, material robotics. I'll give you a very interesting example. Are you guys fed up of assembling your IKEA furniture? Well, you will not be anymore in the next 5 or 10 years. IKEA is trying to design this material where you open the packet and it automatically assembles into a furniture. So the way I've seen it is there's a slab, there are certain part segments that are cut, and then automatically they'll flip. And they're designed in such a way, they're designed with such material that it will just magically assemble itself in terms of, like Iron Man का suit आता था, वैसा कुछ कि वो अपने आप body का configuration देकर फटाफट assemble हो जाएगा. Material robotics, swarm robotics and multi-agent systems. Let's say you wanted to during Corona you wanted to distribute vaccines. There are multiple these swarms that need to coordinate with each other. Which regions are they going into? Let's say they were not able to supply someone. There was, let's say you had vaccines for different ages, and a particular bot forgot a particular kind of vaccine. So he can coordinate with the other bot, multi-agent systems. Safe and robust autonomous driving. India mein autonomous driving kaise chalega bhagwan marega. I'm really not sure how an autonomous car is going to like drive through in Banaras. It's just crazy. But still, it's a problem that will eventually get solved. Sample efficient ML. Right now, ML needs like 10,000 examples, 1 lakh examples, 1 million examples to train. Can you train it with just 10 examples? A human does not need 50,000 examples of a lion to understand that it's a lion. You're just shown once. This is a lion. You are able to understand lion anywhere in the world. Just based on that one image. Your human brain is that powerful. Can we design sample efficient ML? Food robotics. I don't want people in McD to actually assemble my burger. It's a very simple problem. I need 2 buns, I need an aloo tikki, I need to put it there, I need to put a cheese slice, I need to wrap it, and wrapped, done. Food robotics. Aloo कैसे कटता है इस पे तो मैंने पता नहीं कितना सोचा है मैंने बैठ के कि how exactly is a potato being chopped? How much force do you put? How is the knife orientation? It's a manipulation problem again. You hold the aloo and then you keep chopping that. Think about it. It's a problem. It's not going to work very easily. Our human intuition is very strong. We suddenly fold it. I can share videos for it. I have done a lot of analysis on it. Anyway, AI and ethics and policy making. Okay, think of it in this way. Let's say a self-driving car hits a man or hits anything. Who is responsible? The passenger, the company who made the self-driving car, the person who designed the algorithm for the self-driving car, the person who got hit. Who is responsible for it? Someone needs to design laws for that, right? Someone needs to think through this whole process that, okay, when autonomous cars will be there, there'll be accidents. Let's say there was an accident between an autonomous car and a non-autonomous car. Who is responsible for the accident? Who takes the onus of the life gone or, the problems that have been caused because of it? Someone needs to make AI and ethics around it. Laws regulating that, the way robots and humans interact. Someone can, I don't know, you can misuse a bot you had. A bot might just destroy a lot of things in your house. Food robotics, it's a concern, right? Like, let's say a bot mixed something. Bot में कुछ lead leakage था, कुछ था. तुम्हारे खाने में lead चला गया. मैगी में चला गया तो इतना बवाल हो गया था. खाने में चला गया तो क्या होगा? Hardware, making it easy and cheap. Certainly, that's one problem to solve. Cloud computing, high performance computing. I don't know. AWS. AWS कैसे manage होता होगा? सोचा है कभी? There's just so many servers. You just select instance types and suddenly a server gets on in Ireland and you're able to use it. How does that work? It's an open-ended research. It's there in place, but there are a lot of problems around it which need to be solved. So that was my take on research opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities, and the way you go about it in first year, second year is typically by approaching professors, talking to people like me or your seniors or people around you, and figuring out, because there's no direct way to approach it because it's just so vast. You don't have a direct answer to this, that, okay, you want to do research in this, go to this person. You find people who are working on the research problem that you're interested in, email them, talk to them, pester them, reach out to them, somehow get connected with them, tell them that you're really, really passionate about it, and then just hopefully something will work out. Because again, it has to work only once. You're not supposed to convince 100 professors in that field. You're supposed to convince only one professor, one person who knows that and who can guide you. And else, आज की date में, everything is online. Everything is available at a click of a Google. Just write something and you'll get something to start off with. Some open course, something. Do that. That's how you go about research problems. Entrepreneurship. Okay. Again, this is one thing that I really thought about. What should I cover? Entrepreneurial avenues and etc. 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 I think entrepreneurship is defined in the wrong way. It's a way of life. Anyone and everyone who's an entrepreneur is basically a person who's ready to take up challenges and wishes to go up to any degree to solve them, is an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur in Amazon. You can be an entrepreneur in your life. You can be an entrepreneur in a canteen. You can be an entrepreneur when you're running some club in college. It's a way of life. The funda behind entrepreneurship is you think about a problem, you ideate it, you validate it, and you repeat this loop. And you keep repeating unless you get the market, unless you are able to actually hit the clients and the customers. I really like this quote by Reid Hoffman. An entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on his way down. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. You think about something, you understand that, okay, this is a problem and I want to solve this, and then you jump off. And as you are going down, you start building a solution for it. Because you're already there, you're drowned. And isliye I always suggest people not to enter entrepreneurship just for fun. Think, how can you contribute? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? And that is when it actually becomes useful and feasible. About entrepreneurial avenues in electrical engineering, well, you tell me. I wanted to know from you guys, what do you think will be a problem that's worth solving in the next 5 years? Or is a problem right now and I want to solve? Or maybe it's not a problem, but I just realized that, having a solution to this problem will be really cool. You guys tell me, anyone. I thought about it for 10-15 minutes. I have a list, but I want to know it from you guys. Let's become entrepreneurs. Electrical engineering में ऐसा क्या problem आएगा? मतलब सोचो, कोई chat लिख रहा है क्या? Agri-tech, agreed, certainly agri-tech. और agri-tech में क्या चलो? Agri-tech is very, very huge. मतलब harvesting crops, plucking the fruits out of farm, vine banana. क्या? What is the problem that you're thinking about? And you can switch on your video, you can switch on your audio, or you can write on the chat as well. But I think a video and an audio will be nice. I can put you on spotlight. We can talk. Hydroponics. Okay. I did not know about that. Solving circuits by looking at the circuit maybe. Well, that's a really cool idea. और बताओ. कोई आ जाओ यार. It's just so boring to do a monologue. Okay, I'll put out my ideas first. शायद कुछ motivation आएगा. I thought for 10 minutes, and these were some ideas that just came on top of my head. Testing area for self-driving. Self-driving cannot be tested ऐसे ही बस सड़क पे निकाल दिया चला दिया. It's a bot. it can crash miserably. You need testing areas for self-driving. And obviously every company cannot make a testing area for self-driving. So maybe we should make, areas where you could simulate a normal crowd. And those areas need to be very dynamic. Let's say I want to test in a very rogue area like Banaras, जहाँ बहुत lanes ज़्यादा हैं, by-lanes ज़्यादा हैं, lanes कम हैं. तो अगर ऐसी जगह पे मुझे टेस्ट करना है तो फिर I'll need a different kind of an environment. Efficient charging station placements. Tesla is coming to India. Superchargers लगाने पड़ेंगे हर जगह. Who pays for the parking if the car is self-driven? अभी तक तो ड्राइवर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी गाड़ी, फिर कोई कंपनी आएगी. बट अगर गाड़ी सेल्फ-ड्रिवन है, पार्किंग कौन भरेगा? How will parking lots function? उसका फाइनेंस कैसे ऑपरेट करेगा? पैसा कैसे रोटेट होगा वहाँ पर? That's a problem that we need to solve. How will the dynamics of buying change if cars are self-driven? I buy a BMW or I buy a Mercedes because I want to drive it. If the car is self-driven, maybe if it's a hybrid, I drive sometimes it drives itself. Cool. But then the fun is gone. Will the car dynamics, your buying dynamics change? What is the plan around that? This is interesting. Will you have apps and free fire games in car now? Basically, car के अंदर एक software होगा, which will be iOS or Android. And I will have like an Android car and we'll have an iOS car. And you could use Google Maps or you could use Apple Maps. I don't know. So will the car ka software become a proprietary now? You'll need to update the car software and you'll play games and you'll do certain work in your car because the car is self-driven. So now you have all these amenities around in and around your car. Or is it just too much? Matlab, I don't know if it is or if it is not. Right? People use laptops all day. People use tablets all day. So maybe they'll have a car software now. I think that's it. So there I end my PPT. The floor is open for questions. The floor is open for more ideas. The floor is open for a lot of other things. Let's go.